Hi guys, it's that time of the month again, completed pages. If you're new here, my name's Emma and I make videos about collaging and colouring. Sometimes I do them together and sometimes I do them separately. Today, before I start, I just want to have a quick chat about something. I was talking to a group of my friends the other day and I actually realised while I was talking to them that they thought that subscribing to a YouTube channel is going to cost them money. So I'm just here to tell you guys, if that's what you think, that is definitely not the case. You pushing that subscribe button does not cost you anything at all, but it does mean a whole heap to me. It helps my channel out significantly. So if you like my content and you'd like to see more come up in my feed, I would really, really appreciate if you pushed that subscribe button. Okay, so let's get into my pages. The first book I completed a page in is Escape to Oz by Good Wives and Warriors. And I have set myself a little task to try and do one picture in this a month. So this month I finished this page here. And I did muck around a little bit with my collage in this one and played with proportions a bit. So with my collage, I added in, let's pull it up a little bit. I added in these mountains here. And I like the way it had like this little pathway that goes up here into the door and there's a little person there, really tiny. And then I added in these girls and this boy. So I painted the proportions a little bit. As you can see, they're really quite large, but they look like they're sitting on it. So it actually worked out really well. And added this Tin Man in here and he's got his hand on his shoulder. So I wanted to keep it on the Oz theme by adding in the Tin Man, but I just thought something cool like this would be good. I also added in, just back here you can kind of see I added in a little bit of light in there in the doorway. With the background, I did everything in Neocolor 2s. I wanted the rainbow to be like quite dull, but I want it to be all greens. So that's why it's like yellows going into greens to match with the Emerald City theme. And then with the actual picture in the middle, I coloured that in Prismacolors. And then just a little bit of art liner just for all the different dots and a bit of Posca here as well, white Posca. So I think that turned out really well. I really like the proportions and I like how these guys look bigger, but it kind of works with the scene. I did try and, if you can see here, like put a bit of shadowing and shading underneath here so it does look like they're actually sitting there. So the second page I finished was in Morning Scribbles Colouring Book number 2 by Chris Ryanak. And I just finished this one here. So this book for me is a real chill out book. It's like a book I don't have any pressure on myself, so I can just do fun things. And I don't make myself finish it and do shading and stuff like that. So with this one, it's just super basic. I used Crayola Super Tips mixed with water on a palette for all the basing. So I based the whole thing in that. And this paper's not too bad. It gets a little bit wrinkly, but I actually don't mind that. But it does spread quite well. And I like how the colours actually mix into each other quite well on this paper as well. I also used acrylic markers just for the dots and just to outline around here. Just my Toolie Art ones. So just the outlines and colouring his little dots. So to be honest, that's actually one of my favourite pages this month. Super basic, but I just love the colours on him. And I just think it's super cute. And also just to show you in this book, because it's just like a basic play around book, this is a really old picture art. It's nothing special, but I like to use my Crayola Twistables. So I don't know if you guys have seen these before, but these ones here, they're like twistable pencils. So they come up like this, you just twist them. They're a bit like the twistable crayons, but they are the pencils, so they're a lot thinner. But to me, they feel like a crayon mixed with a pencil. They have quite a lot of colours. So I've got all these. They have way more colours than this. I don't have the massive pack. But they are just a lot of fun to use because they have like a different feeling when you're using them. I don't know what it is, but I just find it really relaxing. So if you see some cheap somewhere in the shop, I suggest definitely get them and just give them a go. They don't come out with the best colour. You have to go over layer and layer and layer to get anything because they're not super pigmented, but they're just really enjoyable to use. I also did this Snow White picture in Tiny Dolls, and I did this whole picture in Neocolor 2s. I did a little bit with Tooly Art acrylic markers just for the outlining, but most of it is done with Neocolor 2s. And the reason I did this picture was I did make a video about how versatile they are. I used lots of different techniques, used just with water, I used straight from the crayon, I used it dry, I used it with gesso, like lots of different things. And just to show all the different effects you can get from using Neocolors. So if you did want to see that video, I will connect it at the end with an end card, so you can just press on that at the end. But yeah, I actually really like the way it turned out, and it was a surprise to me that I could do a whole page with Neocolor 2s and get so many different effects from them. I also did a page in Maria Trolle's universe. For this one, I based everything in Ohuhu water-based markers and then went over the top in Prismacolor. I used a bit of silver acrylic marker in her hair. I just did some dots in her hair and on her antlers. And then I outlined everything in Tooly Art acrylic paint pens. And I used a really different colour palette. I use this teals a lot because I really like those colours, but I don't usually pop the oranges in there, and I thought that went really well. I also added in just around the edge here because I did finish it and then I realised I didn't like the white space. So I did this with Neocolor 2s. I just did a couple of different colours and mixed them in, just taking it off a palette with some water, and then just added in these collage features here of the deers and the rabbits. I also put a couple of Posca dots just on the deers and the rabbit, just so they join in a little bit more with the picture. I did 2 pages in Furballs by Diane Defer. Did this little witchy cat here. I based everything in Neocolor 2s, actually just onto the page, and then added the water to spread it out. And then went over the top with Prismacolor, and then also a little bit of Posca dots and a little bit of metallics. I don't know if you can see it just around here and on the feather. Pretty simple. I'm not that good at doing animal fur, but I'm getting there. And then the second page I did was just this one here, which is the rabbits with the pumpkins. And I did everything on this page with Inktense. The only thing that I didn't do with Inktense was obviously these Posca dots and the Posca outlines. I used to hate how the Inktense sometimes gives those lines when you're colouring in with them, but I've grown to love the lines and actually really like them now. And then I also have finished a page in Dream Reese by Maria Trolle, and it's just this one here. I'm not super stoked on this one. I don't really love the pages with a full black background, but I did try and put some Posca dots in there just to make it not so black and boring. So super basic with this one. It is just Crayola super tips. Some I've actually done onto the page and spread out with water, and then other ones I've actually done on a palette and put onto here. So that's basically all it is. And then a little tiny bit of Prisma, just a tiny little bit of shading. And then, I don't know if you can see, I've put a little bit of gold acrylic marker on there as well. But super basic. And that is the last one for this month. So thanks very much for watching, and till next time, bye.